you just never know who's really the one that's really putting on the mask, and really being overly positive and really trying to hide it. So it could be life-saving sometimes, right? My name is Alfredo Alfaro, right? And my role, specific role, is a registration coordinator, which when the students sign up, either staff or students sign up, you know, I get their emails and I just make sure they get all the links to show up to the a QPR session, right? Which is like Project Ocean's main thing, the suicide awareness and prevention training, right? Um, yeah. Other than that, I'm a current graduate student as well in the social cultural analysis of education program, and yeah.
For those unfamiliar, can you tell us more about Project Ocean? Like exactly what it is and its function in school?
Yeah, so Project Ocean works with it's a part of CAPS, which is the Counseling and Psychological Services, and so it's just kind of like a side thing where their bread and butter is the QPR sessions, right? And you could walk into their office and whatnot, and reach out for resources. They're usually the ones that refer you to like a counselor or any other resources that you may need, but the main thing is their QPR trainings, right? Where they do like about 2 hour training on it's mental health and suicide information, right? And what's really cool about it is that it's a space. It's not necessarily just like a where you sit and you're just listening to a bunch of information, but it's definitely a space where you can come in and hear this information and then get a chance to like talk about it. That's why there's a social media team, right? So uh that's how we're trying to reach out to promote the QPR sessions and there are other workshops that are on the way, actually, because yeah, QPR is the bread and butter, but like we have an upcoming one of the coworkers is working on developing a workshop on burnout, right? So you can sign up for it, and it's going to be a discussion about student burnout, right, as a student and stuff like that.
And like what I'm seeing on like what you guys do differently is that like mostly when people think about like mental health resources, it's kind of intimidating, it seems very just like it's intimidating for somebody who's never, seeked out that help. Like, can you talk more about like how Project Ocean tries to like deviate from that? Because, like I feel like you guys are doing workshops, open spaces, and you guys are taking a different approach to than just straight up.
Yeah, I see what you mean, because I personally came into the job like that, right? Like thinking about these things, right? Of how like almost taboo it is to have that conversation about suicide. What I'm grateful for is that the team, um, the leadership that we have there, which was when I started, was her name was Alex and Jennifer. The way they set the tone for us, right? Like very like it's such a serious topic, and so the way they set the tone, you know, very calm, but still like it's very calm and serious, but yet like never forgetting that it's about cultivating joy within us too, right? Working with such a topic, and I think they did a good job in doing that. And so from that, I fed off that. What's great about such a resource here regarding specifically mental health and suicide was that you don't have to necessarily wait till you hit rock bottom to pay attention to such resources and to reach out to them, but that it should give them peace of mind to know that it's there, available to you whenever, right? Like not having to wait till something gets really bad and whatnot. And with that, I kind of wanted to give them the approach that I got working with them, right? That like, like sure, it's a serious topic, but you don't have to wait till things are really bad. Like reach out, come to the workshops and talk about it, or reach out for different resources that the school might offer, right?
I like how you put that. Like, you don't have to, you don't have to wait till you hit rock bottom to seek, help because because with the stigma around mental health, I feel like like one of the cultural norms is invalidating mental health, and it's invalidation from other people, whether it's your parents, or invalidation from yourself. Like, oh, I don't have a problem. I just, I'll get through this. So, like, what advice do you give those people who are going through that, and it's like kind of blocking them from seeking help that they probably need?
That's definitely a tough question, right? Because that is I would even say like the common sense assumption about how one might have to deal with it, right? Like, oh, it's okay. But one of the things I personally thought about coming in and thinking about this kind of stuff myself, it's because I know that there might be a personal maybe shame or afraid of shame, like, oh, like I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't. I'm ashamed that I have to reach out. Like, why can't I be normal, right? But I think that to break that barrier, you have to have courage and some love for yourself, right? To not be afraid of those words or any of those thoughts. Like, don't fight them, right? Like, just let them be, let them be, and make that decision, right? Choose that courage and that love, right? Because at the end of the day, it can really take an effect on you, for holding back so much and whatnot, and those thoughts might spiral you down even further. I would say that those students that do find that courage and love for themselves will see the difference that a simple conversation can have. Like, right, like the QPR sessions are not necessarily therapy or anything like that. It's specifically not therapy that, but it's definitely a space to share knowledge and love, right, for each other, to have those discussions, right? Because it could be those simple discussions, or even you don't even necessarily have to participate, right? But listening to others uh, share their experiences with it and whatnot, that can make the difference to get you to shift uh, your perception about seeking help in a more positive light, right? Where you can see yourself reaching out for some help as well, right?
Have you noticed if, like, do you guys see a lot of new faces consistently, or do you see a lot of familiar faces?
Okay.
Is there like are there is there like a little like community group that, like, oh, like there's like familiar faces that you'll see all the time?
Oh, you know what? It's actually new faces consistently, because after the QPR sessions, you do get a certificate of completion, right? For having this knowledge, right? That this new awareness of certain trigger words, or um, certain nonverbal behaviors that you can look out for and stuff like that. So they do that. So that's the refreshing thing about this, right? But there have been some students that do come back, right? But it's consistently new faces. But it never fails to see how I never failed to see, right? Like in the few ones that I had, that it starts like a little bit shy, right? Like everybody's kind of like, okay, what's this about? And by the end, everybody's energy and just by the way they're sharing, they open up. Like, you can tell that it made a difference for them to simply have this conversation. Because again, it's not counseling or therapy session, right? But we're just kind of bringing up the topic that never comes up, and that's our goal, right? To like have those new faces, so that we tell them, like, you never, now you can carry on this conversation otherwise, because we really emphasize that, right? That it is about simply having that conversation, right? Whether it could be with a friend, a family member, that they see these certain words that can be associated with suicidal thinking, or nonverbal behavior that's associated with that, and they can reach out to them, or simply having that conversation with family and friends, right? Because within those circles, you just never know who's really the one that's really putting on the mask, and really being overly positive and really trying to hide it. So it could be life-saving sometimes.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, the mask is something I think it's very important, because there's always like talks about the signs and everything, but I feel like, and there's always those, those quotes of, oh, they were so happy, stuff like that. And I feel like
That's right.
the masks are it's like very troublesome because it's you really can't tell. It's always going to be different for each person. Like you really can't tell like what anybody's going through. So yeah, like I think encouraging more people to just be comfortable and breaking
Yeah.
stigma is like very important. And also, I just wanted to know because I feel like you specifically got this role, like it meant something to you, and I just want to know more. Like, I want to know more about like why you wanted to do this here at us at our school, and why you, uh, decided to work for Project Ocean.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I definitely shared, you know, I had been patiently waiting for a certain job, right? That, we all go through certain jobs and we get to experience like, yeah, I don't want to go through that job again. But luckily I came across Project Ocean through social media, they were promoting, right? And as I looked into it, I was like, wow, okay. And so when I applied, I shared my personal story with it, right? Like, not necessarily me dealing with that, but working with youth, right? The last time I got to work with youth, which was middle school kids, um, I just thought like I was gonna go there and teach them some critical thinking, like, some of the stuff I'm learning. That was my goal there, right? But I never expected that I just didn't come in with this, that at such young age, like I came across a couple of students, but there was one student who gained my trust and opened up about this kind of stuff, right? About suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. And so then that happened, and I was taken by surprise, right? And so I definitely did everything I could to help her, reach to the parents, everything. I feel like if I feel very fortunate that I came across her, because the thought of like, what if I wasn't there, and what if it was just like these other staff members who would have never paid attention to it, who would have never taken the time to gain the trust and see like what's really going on. And so I feel very fortunate that I came across her. And so I've shared that story with Project Ocean, and why, like, I feel like, yeah, it's important even on the, for this demographic, college students, right? Because I personally felt like that, right? Like, what a great opportunity to work for such an organization where we do what we can to, get rid of that stigma in a way, right? Like that, like, hey, it's okay to have these discussions, right, in a very informative and like in a good way, I'm saying, right? But also I'm thinking now too, like, of like how difficult it is to try to start it too, right? So it's definitely a challenge. It's something that we discuss in those QPR sessions, like, of how hard it is to really just find the right moment to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean,
But
just
yeah.
like what you said with your workshops, it's like you're helping better students, like you're helping students to be better so they can, do the same for others. And you're breaking that barrier of that, it's not about, oh, this is a perfect individual who's telling me, like how to, be better. It's no, this is also another human
Yeah.
that goes through struggles too, but just has a little knowledge. So I like
Hmm.
that aspect for sure. And yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing your story with us, first of all.
Yeah.
And I just want to just, give you some space to like have any closing words, like to just like the college students here at Cal State Long Beach.
It's really important to remember that regardless of our moods and how down we may become, or how stressed we might become, that it's important to remember that we're definitely not alone, right? And with that in mind, like, hoping that you can find some sort of peace of mind, like, okay, I'm not alone, and this is just a process, right? Like, this is just, you know I can't deny the fact that we do all kind of have our different conditions that might make the severity of like the stress or the struggle worse. But at least that's what I tell myself too, as a graduate student, right? And with everything, and I'm a parent too, right? I have a 9-year old. um and so, like, yeah, like, just remember that, like, you're not alone, and that this is all a process, right? And then it doesn't help us to fight it or resist it, but you just kind of let it be. It's not okay, but we have to remember ourselves that it's a process, and because it's a process, it's gonna be okay, right? And again, that depends definitely on the conditions, but that's why I stress more on this idea, like that we're not alone, right? That we're in this world together, and these struggles are definitely shared amongst each other, right?
Thank you so much for taking the time and like sharing. Like you really went in detail and shared a lot. So I'm very appreciated. Appreciate it a lot. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much.